Skip of New York is an agency that specializes in coordinating services and supports for families so that they can bring their children home from institutionalized settings to live in home. So we navigate the bureaucracy, the red tape, we translate any documents. If the family needs Medicaid, we get them Medicaid, a nurse to have the child home from the hospital, we do that as well. What makes Skip unique in terms of an agency that does this type of service is that we're the only ones that specialize in children. Brian Tenio, he is in our enrollment process right now. He lives at home with his mom and his two sisters up in the Bronx. He's a rambunctious 12-year-old, and his mom always says that he's the king of the house because it's all girls, and there he is.
My name is Isabel Vargas. This is my son, Brian Tenio. They told me when Brian was 5, he had disease called Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. It was a muscle disease that is supposed to be genetic, and I never heard in my life something like that. And I don't know nobody in my family or even his family side who has that muscle disease. So it was kind of like a shock at the beginning.
Brian's initial challenge when coming through the enrollment process was gaining initial eligibility, meaning that the government deems his diagnosis good to go for accessing services. And when we first submitted the paperwork, they took a first glance over it and they denied him eligibility. But it's because it's a rare disorder, so it's not going to be on the most common list. You would have to do some research to determine that that is a qualifying diagnosis. And on Skip's part, when we got the denial, we just weren't accepting that. So we had to advocate and push forward so that Brian could be deemed eligible and receive the services that he needed.
So I'm looking forward for the services from Skip. I'm a working parent. It's very hard. You go from work and your child is relying on people, and my daughter has their own world and their own things to do. And Brian's going as a teenager.
I feel like a normal kid. I'm in a wheelchair and just can't walk and play ball, but I understand how to play ball. My friends, they're nice. They support me and they defend me like if somebody try to mess with me. Because I've seen people in my school that they don't have equipment like me, so they just they suffer.
Success looks so different for each case of a Skip family. Success for one family may be that the mom gets to go back to work, or that the other siblings have the attention from their parents, and it's not all resources are going towards one children, because we're talking about a family unit, not just one, child that's in their family units. So Skip's focused on what could make this family the best it could be.
My name is Gina Del Rey, and I have 2 loving little boys. One is 4.5 and one is 2. My 2-year-old is involved with Skip of New York. Anthony has Shwachman-Diamond syndrome. He was diagnosed at 8 months old. It's a rare genetic disease. Basically, he has a problem absorbing fats. Our challenges are when he gets sick, when there's a fever, when there's a cold. His common cold is not a common cold like a regular kid's. He's in the hospital. When you have a sick child, they always need something, whether it's another genetic test that someone won't pay for, a lab bill, or even just a question of why a certain medication's not covered. You need help, especially when you're one person, like it's me and my husband, and it's a lot of doctors, it's a lot of appointments, it's a lot of things to manage. My caseworker now has taken a lot off my plate. Like now when I get forms, she has them half filled out, or if I need something, like there's something he really needs that I can't afford, she'll say, well, maybe we could get a grant. And you need someone to be on your side when, you're trying to fight for something for your child. I'm grateful for what we have. I've learned a lot from Anthony. When you have no other choice but to be strong and resilient, you have no choice. So we cherish every good thing that goes on.
So my name is Lacey Tompkins, and I'm a senior at Barnard. I'm 21 years old, and I'm from New York City. I majored in psychology here, and next year I'm going to work at an advertising agency in the city. So I have spinal muscular atrophy, which is a neuromuscular disease. So essentially, it just makes like all my muscles really weak. It's progressive, and it's called me to be wheelchair bound.
Lacey is one of our Skip kids that is now one of our Skip adults. She's grown up in Skip. We've had her since she was 8 years old. Over the course of Lacey's life, Skip has been there to assist getting her services and supports.
What's been really great about Skip, since they've been with us since as long as I can remember, is that they've kind of helped guide us through the process to anticipate what we need next. So, of course, it was hard in terms of not having these things, especially as things were changing. But I can honestly say that when I look back on it, I got those things right when I needed them. So it was almost a really important preventative measure that really changed not only my life, but just making it easier for my mom and sister to help me out and to not have to always be there necessarily to open a door if they're in the other room or things like that, which sounds simple, but when it's an everyday task, it's really important to just independence and quality of life for everyone involved. I mean, independence has definitely always been important to me. I don't think there was a moment where I decided to be it. I just think it's kind of part of my character. I think my mom has always recognized that and really wanted me to have, to be able to do whatever I wanted to do. I'm able to have a great college experience and also use the city with my friends. And I'm in a sorority. I'm currently on the senior fund. At Barnard, I'm also doing the Athena Scholars Program. It's a leadership program for students across all majors. But I just wouldn't be able to do all that I love to do, and I definitely wouldn't be able to have any of the accomplishments that I have either personally or just in terms of doing well in school and things like that. I don't even think I could do that without Skip. I think that the people there really do care, and that's always been something that I felt, and I know my mom has felt as well.
Our future destinations may be varied, but our thoughts of hope and love lead us all back to the place we call home. Tonight, help give Skip and the several hundred children still on our waiting list a bright future, illuminating their way back home.
We're home.